right. Welcome to the Hsr Nerdcast, where we're missing our S today, but HSR also stands for Health Stamina Regen, where we appreciate it just as much as you do. I'm the Great Rex,
Sorry.
Habs.
and what are we talking about today, guys? I know I got a couple things, but I'll let you guys start the floor.
So this happened a couple weeks, actually almost a couple weeks ago, but Intel had a massive data breach, and the person that did the data breach said there's a lot more to come, but 20 gigabytes of Intel IP stuff is somewhere on the web for people to access.
Wow.
Yeah. So like their guides, their flash toolings, BIOS reference codes.
Jesus.
Yep. Like all sorts of crazy stuff is just out there. And what's really scary is the fact that like this is Intel, one of the biggest
Yeah.
corporations out there for IT.
Mm-hmm.
They aren't even safe these days
No.
from data breaches. And the one that that scares me the most is I don't know if it scares me the most, but like one of the most interesting is the binaries for the camera driver Intel made for SpaceX is out there.
Ooh.
So that proprietary information for that project is available on the web if people know how to search that out.
That's rough.
I have
Yeah.
a feeling that's probably right now it's probably being sold for big money. My guess is it's probably not out. Like stuff like that. I have to say I would have to imagine that there's probably a marination period, I guess if you want to call it, in the fact that somebody the whomever got that information knows what they have. So now they're going to hold it hostage for as much money as they can make. So now you got the headhunters for guys like, AMD and all of these other companies that can afford to shell out the cash for what this person has this information this person or group has gathered. Um, and that's what you're going to see it first. And then once it's been out there, then you're you know guys like us could
Right.
potentially go find it.
So this is where Intel definitely needs to up their security. So if you find the information and it's in a stock Intel zip file that's password protected, it's either Intel 123 with a capital I or a lowercase I.
Oh,
That, that's
That's
not
a
good.
bad password.
yeah.
That is a really bad password. Wow.
Yes. Yeah, that is rough. But
Wow.
the anonymous hacker did say, I don't know if he's actually with Anonymous, but he's just an unknown hacker. Did say that he has a lot more information and the juicier, more classified stuff he does plan on releasing in the next couple of weeks. So we will see what happens.
Wow. That's crazy.
That is actually really crazy. In also in that same realm of news that I had found, I guess Amazon found a serious security bug with the Alexa that it was a flaw that I was reading about that you if the hack was if you it required one click on an Amazon link purposely crafted by the attacker, it would have the potential to basically allow them to access the the history of your Amazon Alexa, and not to mention basically like voice history. Like they basically use it as to spy on you. Amazon officially said that they found it before any notice of that it was actually happening to people. But what scares me, and they fixed it, but what scares me is it was out there. And, yeah, they can tell us all day long, oh yeah, we found it before anybody took exploit to it. But how true is that? like, if I was a large company like that, I wouldn't want to create the mass panic, number one. And number two, it begs the question for me, and this is part of the reason I stay away from those Amazon and Alexas and Google Homes and different things like that. As much as they're nifty and useful, and I want one, there's a portion of me that they called it voice history. So they are keeping log of what you're saying. That's 100%. Now, if anybody was like, people have joked about it for, people are spying us. They're listening to what we say. This 100% concretes those people. You'd say, oh, it's a wild theory. No, that 100% right there concreted it. That yes, they are keeping a voice history of some sort of what you're saying, and those things are always listening.
Right. I think now in terms of service, when you sign up for those, though, that's listed and stated in there.
Oh, yeah.
You do have the option of going in. Like, I know when I set up my Google Nest, I had the option of going in and actually seeing all the chat data and everything that they have and deleting it right there on the spot. And I think I can do that with my Echoes as well.
Oh, all right. Well, yeah. I mean, granted, you are when you buy one, you are signing an agreement to let them do that.
Yep.
You that's why as much as some terms of service agreements are so long and we never read them, and we just click OK and say, all right, let's go. But if you have a problem with it, either read the terms of service. There's probably a list somewhere that you can browse through. Control F on your keyboard to let you find. That whole aspect. Pay attention, or just don't buy one. Like myself, I'm uneasy about it. I don't.
I'm a big fan of smart stuff.
I love. Yeah. I'm a huge fan.
Turning on the lights, turning on the Xbox, and all that. I'm a big fan.
Don't get me wrong. I love it. I think it is the coolest thing ever. But I'm inviting them into my home, well, yeah. and I'm at that point. I am letting it. It's like if you guys come over and you say, "Oh, I'm going to record our whole conversation today." And then I'm going to leave this here and I'm going to continue to record this conversation. I'd be like, wait, time out, guy. Like that, I know, it's like, that's kind of weird. So.
I can see that. But, I mean, the utility that they offer for a lot of people is really nice. Personally, I have an Echo, but when I replace my modem, it refuses to connect to the wireless network now, so it's just been kind of sitting there doing nothing for the last few months. It's weird. But, I mean, it's not something that I was using on a regular basis. If I wanted to make an Amazon purchase, I wasn't doing it through my Echo. If I wanted to look something up, I wasn't doing it through the Echo. It was given to us as a gift, and so it just kind of sat there and played music every now and then while we were downstairs.
Yeah, it played music, if you had the smart home aspect, turn on, turn off lights. Which, like, that is the coolest thing. And I understand, and there's a whole bunch of other useful things, people of limited mobility and stuff like that. That is fantastic. I would like to see someday, now that Amazon's started it, Google has one. I want one. If somebody came out with one that didn't, that was strictly, what we want to use it for, what everybody tends to use it for, without the data collection in the background.
So the only reason I think that probably won't happen is because the only reason these things have the data collection is because they're tied to another service.
This is true.
Right. They have
so
that.
If you want one that's going to do just your stuff, you're going to have to develop one yourself. Because you just needed to do what you needed to do, and you need to recognize your voice.
Yeah. But on top of it, they have to have that feature of like mic always on kind of thing to be able to know like you're saying Alexa, Echo, or Hey Google.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. That mic always on, yes.
The Nest actually did come with a off button for the microphone, there's a switch you can just hit to actually turn that off.
But
I think there's a mute button on the Echoes.
But that's you can turn the mic off all you want. I'm strictly talking the data collection and the background portion of it.
Yeah. Right. If you turn the mic off, they can't gather the data.
This is true, but once again, you can't just say, hey, hey service,
Well, you could. You go over, turn the mic on, say what you need to do, turn the mic off.
Yeah.
It just makes it a little bit more complicated.
Yeah. But I'm thinking
useless essentially.
but I'm thinking along the lines of, in my opinion, we'll take somebody of limited mobility. Can that person effectively do that every time?
Yeah. No.
And exactly. And that's where that's where I say, all right, well, it's a useful tool for people, but if like I said, data collection in the background shouldn't, you should have the option. Let's just put it that way. You sign up. Even if the process was wildly obnoxious to do to get the option to be turned off, they should give you an option. I got to call this company. I've got to put in a ticket. I've got to have it submitted for review or whatever, and then they turn the data collection portion off for your device. Because obviously it's registered to your account and all of this, so they should be able to do that. It should be an option. I wouldn't even care if it was a process, but just give people the option.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think if you did that, they would see sales increase, because there is a lot of people. We'll just take, for example, not just myself, but my parents, and I have a couple of friends of the family that refuse to use things like those just for that reason. So now if you told them, oh yeah, you can do that, you just have to submit something to the company and they'll turn it off, then that group of people would say, maybe I will try this, because I see the aspect of, I can say, hey service, turn on the lights, or hey service, turn off the TV type of thing. People love that. So
yeah. I think that's a good that's something to look into there, Rex. Maybe you can look at developing something like that.
Oh, I'm not nearly that smart. I won't say that I'm stupid, but I am not that smart.
All you have to do is buy one of those things, take it apart, figure it out, and then build your own.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's
easy.
It's easy. I'm sure there's a YouTube video out there somewhere you can check out. But I think I agree. I think that's one of the big things that's happening right now is companies that do collect data, like PII, essentially. There's the whole thing with the stuff that's going on with Tencent right now in the US, and that whole, I forget the name of the program specifically, but there was a WeChat, that collected and sent a whole bunch of your data straight over to Tencent in China.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy to think, what these programs that we're using these days are actually collecting.
Oh yeah, and
that goes for any online thing that we're using, whether it's a video game, a household device, our cell phones.
Not to
everything collects this.
Not to step into a political realm. I'm gonna try to keep that as much out of it. But the same idea with TikTok and the U.S. trying to ban TikTok because of the data collection.
It's
why
a big hot topic.
Why is it that these apps, and I've done it for years on my phone. You got, people don't look at, all right, I'm downloading this app. Why does it need to know my location? All right, this app doesn't specifically have anything to do with camera, so why does it want to use my camera function? And so if people don't look at that, and I've done this for years, is when an app downloads and it asks for permissions, what permissions is it asking for, and denying the ones that it doesn't really need. And that hasn't failed me yet. So,
I will say that there have been some apps that I've downloaded and attempted to deny features for, and it has specifically said, "Hey, unless you enable these features, you can't run the app." And at that point, I've deleted the app because I'm like, you don't need it. Right?
Exactly.
So there are definitely some things that are a little funky, but this has been going on for years, and it will continue to go on as long as we are in the world of technology.
Oh yeah.
And so I think, as a people, I'm gonna say people, as a people, we need to figure out with what we are comfortable with being collected and used versus what we're not, and then hold companies to standards and say, hey, I understand that you need to collect data to be able to update your service and make sure you're offering products to the person. I understand you're a business, you need to make money. I am okay with you collecting this X amount of data and using it internally for your whatever service. And we need to hold companies to a higher standard of, yes, okay, you can have this 10% of my data specifically around these things so that you can attempt to sell me additional products. Because that's the whole goal of it, is for them to make money.
Yep.
And I think if we can figure out what we as a people are comfortable with, and then set some standards within the industry, that we could probably find a nice medium of, you can still try and make money, and I can feel comfortable with the information that you have. Because I mean, let's be real, we're uncomfortable with them collecting it without our notice. But if you call and set up like an insurance policy, or you have any other carrier service, they have your social security number. They look your policies up by your social security number. I'm more afraid someone's going to steal that and do something with it than I am trying to take my information to sell me the next XYZ. So I think we are more comfortable with it in certain situations, but I think with the automatic data collection and us not knowing with what's going on with it, I think is what scares a lot of people.
Oh yeah, I think in the realm of what we are talking about in the realm of listening devices, I think most people are, like you said, you sign up for an insurance policy, they ask you your social security number, you give it to them, you're comfortable with that. It is the thing of something in your space that is actively listening to everything that you may not want somebody to hear. People are private, and as much as the least private person in the world can be, they still have, there's still an aspect that they want their privacy. And you're taking, and listening devices take that, they take that away, and it's not for the lack of do I really want, it's not for the lack of I don't care, or I do care, or anything like that. It's just an aspect of, it's there, it's always listening. So give the Americans, not just Americans, the world, give the human race an option. People love options.
It's true. Give them choices. They love choices.
As much as choices might hurt some people, are like, I did too many choices, but you love it, because if you didn't have it, you'd be like, there's not enough. So, but along the lines of, speaking of apps and stuff that we're, I noticed, I read that the Xbox xCloud is going to be starting up here soon.
Yes. And what is that?
So it's part of the top tier of the Xbox Game Pass. It allows you to stream your games without paying for the actual, and downloading the actual game. And
it's the thing that shut down Mixer.
And what's fantastic about it or not fantastic about it, I guess, depending on how it segued in was the fact that if you have an Android phone, you can play the same games on your phone, which it is kind of cool. I mean, I'm not a huge phone game person, but that's because phone games kind of suck. But these are PC games on my phone for I think it's like $15 a month, and yeah, it's $15 a month for the top tier of Xbox Game Pass, and I can just stream whatever I want.
I think you probably would need to invest in, like, I think they make controller attachments for your phones, right? That you'd have to be able to set your phone into.
Yeah.
Otherwise, think of how you're going to play these
Yeah.
games on a touch screen. It's not.
Yeah, no, I wasn't
for.
thinking
I don't
of
think
touching
you can
it.
play it
Yeah.
on a touchscreen.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But like, but
Which I guess it's kind of cool, but you'd have to take it with you to places, because if I'm playing a game on my phone that I could be playing on my computer, I'm just gonna play it on my computer.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I don't know.
I think, but you know what I think it does, and I think there is a market out there that is kind of untapped in a way, and this is going to kind of bring that market to life. Is easy to use, and this I would say that the Nintendo Switch did it so far, has been doing it the best. Is easy to use microcontrollers, stuff that fits in your pocket or your bag very easily. You know, it like just in my thought process, the Nintendo Switch, you have those two controllers can sit together. Now they're Bluetooth, and you connect to your phone, and you just throw them in your pocket, and they're no bigger than the phone itself. Then I think that market's gonna, if this takes off the way that they're hoping it does, then I can see that market increasing just a little bit more.
Well, it better take off, because they shut down a whole streaming service and forced a whole bunch of people to switch over to Facebook to make it work. So let's hope that it doesn't bite them in the butt.
Yeah. Well,
because it really has the potential to do so, and I think putting that in part of the reasoning as to why they closed Mixer is going to hurt it in the initial launch, because all those people that may potentially have gotten it because it was a Microsoft product part of what they were streaming on kind of feel a little burned. So they really needed to be great, and they needed to work basically flawlessly out the door, or it's going to flop pretty hard for potentially a long while.
Yeah.
We don't need another Stadia on our hands.
Ooh. Shots fired, Google.
But speaking of Mixer and all of that, I saw that Shroud just signed an exclusive contract with Twitch again.
Yep.
He's coming back.
He's back.
And that's back. A really good move on Twitch's part. Just be like, the past is the past. We want you back.
Yeah, because they screwed that with Ninja.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's no way Ninja was going to ever re-sign with Twitch with everything that happened with his channel.
Yeah.
Rex, you heard about all that when Ninja went away, right?
What about? They won't.
Well, so first when Ninja went over to Mixer, they initially deleted his channel.
Yeah,
and
I heard
they brought
that.
it back. And then for like 48 hours, somebody streamed porn on his channel.
Okay, I did hear that.
And then they were using his channel to advertise other streamers.
Yes.
So interesting.
Twitch messed up real big right there.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, it was rough. So they really hurt themselves with that, not bringing Ninja back. So I'm glad that they did bring back Shroud and didn't make the same mistakes, because oh man, that's a lot of viewership.
Well,
so did you see the numbers Shroud had though on his first stream?
No.
500,000 viewers.
Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
But the Doctor still
had
beat
300.
out Shroud.
Did he? I thought he only had 300.
750.
But that was on YouTube.
Yeah.
That was on YouTube.
And he's uncontracted through YouTube too.
Yep. Yep.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, YouTube right now is drafting a hell of a contract.
From my understanding, from listening to people like Devin Nash and like other people, YouTube's not doing any kind of contracts with anybody right now.
Oh yeah, they did. They snagged up and signed PewDiePie.
When?
Because he's been on YouTube since it started. I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
he's
no,
had a contract for a long time.
Here, there was an article. Give me a second. When did this happen?
The king
So-
of Let's Plays.
So yeah, he was gonna stream on D Live, and then he ended up, what was it? After his contract with D Live was up, YouTube YouTube snagged him up with a solid contract, I guess.
Well, there's a difference between. There's also a big difference between PewDiePie and the Doctor, right?
Yeah, but that contract was also signed in 2019.
Yeah.
Was it? I was under the impression it was this year.
Hold on, I may have missed it. No, May 4th. May 4th.
Yep.
So that was back in May. But like right now, the current thing that's going on since Mixer shut down is YouTube's not signing anybody.
Oh, all right. So within the last couple of months, then.
Yep.
Yeah. And they may be also hesitant on signing anything with Dr. Disrespect until until the information as to why he was banned on Twitch is released publicly.
Right.
Because we don't know why he was banned. There's a bunch of allegations. Yeah.
Or if it's ever released, I should say.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
it's one of those situations that is pretty tough for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But there's a big but also Shroud has a certain market based off of his skill level, whereas Dr. Disrespect is very much a Tyler 1. His crowd is very much based off of him being just a toxic jerk to everybody.
Did you see the hype that he built up the day before he went live?
Didn't he like throw his stream up on like starting soon for like ever?
Yeah, for I think it was like 4.5 hours. He had just an animation and some music playing, and that's it.
Yeah,
and he had like I think like 400,000 viewers just to that.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that is how you build hype in that industry.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, people love that man. People really, really love that man.
I think, I think because they know he's so personified. You know,
it's like watching somebody from the WWE. Let's be serious.
Yes, 100%. You are not right. You are not wrong one bit.
Same thing happened with Tyler 1. Like,
yep.
When he returned after being banned for 2 years, dude, his stream that first day was crazy. I think he made like 100,000 subs in one day.
Jesus.
Granted, it was just for the month, right? It was just here's the hype. Let me get a part of the hype. But think about that. For 1 month, 100,000 plus subs.
Yep.
And that's League of Legends. That's not even like, he's not a professional player. He's not like the highest tier of skill. He's not a challenger player. He's a diamond player.
Just people find him entertaining.
He's just a jerk.
Yep.
That's why he got perma-banned. At some point, he was banned on League to where if anybody found out it was him playing, that account got instantly perma-banned.
Yep.
For 2 years.
He's definitely toned it down from what he used to be.
He's toned it down in chat, but if you watch it streams, he hasn't.
Yeah, but I think he used to say he used to be like use like a lot of more derogatory terms in chat and stuff like that. So he's definitely dialed all that back, which is good. Yeah, even on his stream,
he understands that that's how he made money. That was the big moneymaker. Because for 2 years he was still streaming other things.
Yep.
But he wasn't making that. He wasn't making that money. So he understands that League is his big moneymaker. But much like Dr. Disrespect, his community and his build-up is about the toxicity, and people just love it. I don't know why, but people love it. And it's probably just because it's an entertaining personality to watch, but you really have to separate that. This is just entertainment versus, personally thing, and that can be hard to do for some people.
Oh yeah, 100%. But like Hab says, it's like watching WWE. It's these he is disrespect is the heel of Twitch. Like
not anymore.
No, well, not anymore. Yeah, but
oh goodness, but yeah.
So, but I'm interested to see how it goes. He's off in his he's off on his own now. I mean, he's still got his the Champions Club.gg or whatever it is, and all of that. So, who knows? Nobody, because he's such a personified character, nobody besides his inner circle knows his true personality and his. This might be the most what's the word? Not I want not statistical, but strategy based move. So strategic move that he could make to benefit himself. Like obviously, he could have been thinking, all right, well, Twitch is great. I'm starting to outgrow Twitch, and I know my followers are going to follow me because I have this amount of people that sign up to the Champions Club, and I know I can get the ad revenue and the stuff from Twitter or YouTube without signing a contract to be exclusive. So why not, be better for myself and do this by myself, which it could 100% be his thought process on it.
Could be. I guess for me, I've always had a hard time with people that make their living off of being rude or exploiting others. Right? Like,
yeah.
The fact that he's making his living by being a jerk, it just it's off-putting to me. So it's not someone that I would necessarily support. I think it's great that he's making a living doing it, and I understand why he is, because again, it's entertaining, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it's not something that sits well with me. So
now I don't religiously watch. Like, I'm not a hardcore fan of his, but I do respect what he does because I've watched enough to realize.
About disrespect.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Friendly, a little friendly back and forth trash talk in a game is not terrible, but but it just, when you put it to a certain point, it just doesn't sit well with me. So I think it's great for him. It's probably a very smart move because he can kind of double dip on the YouTube side by making the live streams, get the stuff live, and then the streams are posted, and then people that couldn't catch the live portion can catch it on YouTube, and then they've got the extra ad revenue there. Everything's kind of all in one place versus getting your sub money and ad revenue from Twitch, and then ad revenue and member money from YouTube. So I don't know. It is what it is. We have to wait and see what happens with it.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely good that he was able to keep doing what he's doing to make his money, because I hate to be out of a job. But definitely not someone that's in my wheelhouse necessarily.
I found it comical just for the fact that he's he rages and but that's because I know it's so wildly fake. It's I can mentally like say, all right, I could this probably isn't the person that he actually is.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah, and I could sit there, I can watch a little bit of it. Obviously that type of personality and that type of wildly obnoxiousness,
it wears on me.
It wears on me. I can't I wouldn't be able to sit and watch a whole stream of that. But also on the same note, I wouldn't be able to sit and watch a whole stream of Shroud. His personality is meh.
He's all about the skill. You watch him because he is amazing at what he does.
Yeah, he's easily one of the best FPS players in the world.
But I can you can kind of gauge the fact that, unpopular opinion to maybe to somebody, but he's probably a shitty person. You know?
Maybe.
He's
Never know.
like based off of his reactions and the way that he plays, because he's not playing a character. He's just good. That's why people watch him. But the vibe that I get from him is he's just not a super nice person in real life, is my guess. So
Essentially.
But
that's like there was a whole big issue with one of my favorite streamers, Man versus Game. For a long time, like, he's super great on stream, super awesome dude, like very interactive, very much laughing and having a good time, and just super nice on stream. And then for a long time, like, there's some stuff came out that just wasn't great in like his personal life. He got divorced. His best friend doesn't really hang out with him too much anymore. Like, he just kind of did some things that were not great and kind of separated himself. And now he's been improving and working on that. Like, I still follow him on Twitter, and he's been much more vocal about things in his personal life, and he's definitely improved himself. But it's one of those things, like, these are personalities, and you really don't know who the person on the camera is unless you really pay attention to what's going on.
Yeah.
One of the things with being an entertainer in general, and it's one of those, if you start to make it big, people are going to start digging into your personal life, so better keep it clean.
Yep.
But I think with Shroud, and I'm not sure, I haven't watched him recently, but like, I'm going to compare Shroud to when Bjergsen from League started streaming. Like, you were there to watch Bjergsen play, and he really didn't interact at all with the chat. Like, he would look at chat and not say anything.
Right.
Yeah, he was just very much focused on the play, and even now it's to an extent still like that. So I feel like the professional gamers that you're there to watch them play, you really can't judge their personality because they're so focused, just like Shroud is so focused on playing at top level that his reactions may be genuine reactions, but that doesn't necessarily mean he may be a terrible person. He just may not be a person that you'd want to hang out with, right? Like, he may just be very different. But I don't know. It's hard to judge. It's hard to judge those. And I think people like Sneaky have done a really good job, where he came off from being a pro player and he separates his professional persona from his streaming persona very well. When he's playing on a pro team and he's doing those interviews and stuff, he's very professional and he's very calm and nice. And then when he's playing, like when he's streaming, he's all over the place. He's screaming and making jokes, and he's very entertaining.
I have to watch him.
He's great, dude. I love watching Sneaky.
I just thought you liked his cosplays.
Listen, Sneaky, it does some great cosplays. Let's be real. I don't know if Rex has ever seen a Sneaky cosplay.
No.
But
I'm guessing I don't want to.
No, they're really good.
You might get real confused. So he has a makeup artist girlfriend. Yep. So she does all of his makeup and gets him the outfits and dresses them all up, and it's kind of scary. It's kind of scary. She does an amazing job.
Yeah, she does.
But he's just very vocal and entertaining on stream when he's streaming for himself, but when he's playing pro, he's a very different person. So at some point, even you could say this might be Shroud's on-camera personality in general. He may just be like, I'm on camera, I'm here doing my job, I'm playing at high level, this is what people expect from me, and this is just what I'm going to do. And then when he gets off camera, he may just be like me and you, but we'll probably never know that.
I'm sorry, you guys were like, I Googled it.
You looked it up, didn't you?
Yep, I looked it up.
Dude, it's so good.
It's wrong, and I mean, it's good.
It's good.
But you're confused.
But it's wrong.
Wrong.
There's many things wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it.
So the great thing is, it started out as a joke. It was like some guy, one of his viewers, like, "Hey Sneaky, if I sent you a maid outfit, would you wear it on stream?" And he was like, no. And the guy sent them like $300 plus the thing, and he was like, okay, I guess, whatever. And then it blew up.
Yeah.
He has like a whole Patreon site and stuff now where like people pay him just for the cosplay piece. It's kind of crazy. But it paid out because they did one of the was it, I don't think it was a Twitch Rivals. I think it was a League, like their All-Star match.
That was great.
So him and another player of his position from Korea dressed up as one of the in-game characters, the same in-game character at that event. So it was like they competed in a 1v1 versus each other, playing that character that they were cosplaying. It was great.
All right, that's kind of funny.
Really fun.
Yeah, it was great, man. So it kind of worked out in his favor because you know he's making extra money off of that, plus his streams, plus the pro stuff. Like he's just got it kind of figured out. I don't know.
So, the newest news of what's going on in the gaming community. Fortnite's been pulled from the Apple Store and Google Play Store because they have implemented their own direct pay through their mobile app, bypassing the percentages that Apple and Google would get. And because it's been pulled, Epic is now suing both Google and Apple.
I saw something about that.
Yep.
That's the ultimate screw you move right there.
Yep. So, from my understanding, is I don't know if it is was like this on Apple Store or Google Store, but I know on Steam this is the reason why Epic pulled out, or not Epic, EA pulled out was when Dragon Age 2 came out, had its own in-game transactions, which actually violated the terms of service of Steam. So either they could retro pay Valve for the money loss that Valve was taking because of the in-game purchases, or they pulled their games off. And EA decided they were already in the process of building their Origin launcher. Let's just pull everything off and put it on the Origin launcher. And we all see how that turned out. EA is now back on Steam.
Yeah.
So, this is a bold move for Epic Games. A very bold move. And I'm actually excited to see how this plays out, because this could set a new precedent where even if there was a condition in the app stores where you had to have your stuff go through those app stores and not be direct sales, this could set a whole new precedent of being able to either bypass that, or it's going to come down to companies just being like, well, we're not going to put your stuff on the app store anymore. You're going to have to come to our website and actually buy it.
Yeah.
So I'm reading an article on it right now, and it seems like this is an issue that's been going on. That apparently, the lawsuit is 60 pages long, so it's been an ongoing issue that Epic has been kind of building up, and they're saying it's they take 30%. Apple and Google take 30% of the cut from any in-game purchases.
That's huge.
Epic is offering a 20% discount on direct purchases, which violated the contract, and they're basically suing them for anti-competitive conduct. Like they're trying to maintain a monopoly over these purchases. Like this is my game, this is my purchase.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of you taking 30% of the purchase just because my product is in your store.
Right.
And I mean that's fine if you want to take a percentage because you're hosting it in the store, but
I would have thought that number would have been like 5 to 15%, somewhere in there. Something a little bit more reasonable. 30% is huge. That's too big.
Yeah.
Imagine. I mean, it's let's say 30% of every dollar. The company's only making 70 cents.
Yeah.
Per purchase of every dollar.
Yep.
I mean, it's still great because I'm sure they rake in millions of dollars, but at the same time, it is a monopoly, and there's a reason that monopolies are not favored, because there is no competition, because it drives the price up for the consumer.
Exactly.
And so I like that Epic is taking the step to try and bring fairness to the consumer, and unfortunately it has resulted in them losing some of those extra, because there are people that are not going to know or not going to want to go to a website to download.
Yeah.
Because if there's ever an update, they're going to have to go back and re-download it. There's no automatic update feature. as of right now.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
there are for the games installed.
Not
As Vince even saying here that, they won't receive the updates. So even if you're able, it says you could still have it installed, right? If you had it installed through one of the stores, it will stay installed and work, but there will be no updates to it. So then you have to go download the new version, update it directly. And every time that there's an update, it's going to prompt you to go to the website, download a new version, and a new APK, reinstall a new APK.
Yeah. Not
It's
to
going to be very
mention,
time consuming.
Not to mention on that, like, not everybody knows how to allow unlicensed apps to install on your phone.
Right.
Like,
I know my phone does a great job. If I have an unlicensed app, it tells me, hey, go to settings and click on this and click on this. It tells me exactly what to do. I don't know about Apple, but I know that the Galaxy S20 does that. I don't know about the Google phones. I don't know about the LGs, but my Galaxy tells me how to do it.
Yeah, but and that's the thing, like, because it's always been a hidden thing, just due to the fact that they, not that that it's harmful, but it could be potentially harmful. It has that potential, and if you don't know, if somebody doesn't know how to turn that off, then congratulations, you're not going to be able to download that APK from whoever's website you're trying to download it from. So, that's I would assume probably if you read through that whole 60 pages that that's somewhere in there. But and if it's not, I'm sure it eventually will be, because people are going to start figuring that out. Like, why can't I install this while my phone is blocking it? Well, you can turn it off, but how?
Yep. Some other things I'm seeing on this article, one of the few things that this website is doing well is bringing other things to light. But things like, there's a website it's an email service called hey.com. They also have a lawsuit against Apple because Apple would not allow their service to operate on their platform because they wouldn't use Apple's payment platform. And that actually, he was one of the founder, David Heinemeier, is one of the people that went against the judicial, was like in the he tested, God, words are hard. This is hard to read and say at the same time. He testified in the January hearing against Apple's practices in a congressional hearing held by the House Judiciary for anti-competitive behavior. And the European Commission has 2 antitrust investigations into the App Store, citing a complaint from Spotify. So there are a lot of companies that offer their own individual payment options that, if you aren't letting exclusively Apple handle those transactions, they're not putting your apps on their store, which is a big problem. And that's something that needs to be fixed.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it comes down to
100%.
options. I want to download this service through your service because it's easier. And I want to pay. I pay for my Spotify through my desktop application. But I should be able to download your app through your service and there not be an issue.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, Apple and Google Play are going to have an issue where enough companies are going to say, well, why? And they're just going to pull their stuff from the store anyway and just say, here, download this APK. We've developed a technology that lets this stay up to date just as easy as the stores did. So there's no issues with having to try and re-download APKs and reinstall things. And then phone developers will stop making those. They'll automatically turn on the unregistered thing, or they'll have a pop-up that says, hey, this is an unregistered or unlicensed app. Are you sure you want to install this? Yes or no? And it might just do that for every install now. Yeah, there's a path forward that really hurts Apple and Google if they don't rectify this situation and make things more competitive for the consumer, because it is all about the consumer. And if they aren't keeping us in mind, they're going to have problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even the Epic Store, as we know, takes 12% of payments. 12% is even more reasonable than Steam. I think Steam takes more than that from its developers. I don't know if they've changed that, but I know that was a big thing when the Epic Store launched. They were like, hey, for developers that launch their product on our service, we only take 12%, and Steam takes X higher. It was like 20% or something.
Yeah, Steam takes about 30%.
There you go. So it's a huge incentive for developers to develop for the Epic launcher.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the Epic launcher took a huge hit when it launched because they launched early and they had some problems. But I think we could probably start seeing some bonuses to using the Epic launcher and having indie developers develop for it.
Oh yeah. So far, for what I use the Epic launcher for, it's been great. It's been smooth. I've had no issues with it. Control is an amazing game. So,
oh goodness.
But yeah, even the fact that like every few weeks, Epic's also giving out free games, which is huge.
Yeah,
and sometimes
like right now, actually, Remnant from the Ashes is actually free on the Epic Store at the moment.
Nice.
That is awesome.
Too bad I've already purchased it and played it through all of it on Steam.
I wonder if they have the whole, if you get it on Epic, you can play with your Steam friends. I'm assuming you should be able to.
Really? How? Because it's technically cross-platform at that point.
It's PC though.
Yeah, but you're using, again, it comes out to what you're using to launch the game, and its API is using your friends list from Steam versus your friends list from Epic.
Right.
So I'm not sure how that would work, unless there was some way like PSO2 just launched on Steam last week, and there's a way to link your active PSO2 account to your Steam account, and you now can play them on either the direct launcher or through Steam.
Okay.
And all of your character data is the same, so all of your friends lists carry over.
Okay.
But this allows you to play without having an Xbox Live login. Yeah. So the difference is you wouldn't have access to your Xbox friends if you play on Steam, and you won't have access to your Steam specific friends if you play on the Xbox Live version. But if you add them as PSO2 friends, you can play with them on either platform, and there's no difference.
Okay.
And there's no issue with Steam. Steam doesn't care that you purchase directly from Microsoft money or not, right? They don't care about the purchases, the in-game purchase. So I don't know. Ooh. I wonder if there's something like that.
That's tasty as well for all of you Bullet Hell fans. Enter the Gungeon is free as of the 20th on the Epic launcher.
I think I have that one too already.
That was so good. So good.
But yeah, I mean, it would gosh, goodness gracious, I apologize. I'm very tongue-tied this morning, apparently. I left my water in the other room. That's probably the issue.
Water is lifeblood, folks. Water is lifeblood.
You're almost out there.
I know.
It would be really smart of companies to develop an API to allow friends lists to mix. Right? That would be so freaking smart of them to do.
Yeah. Well, Epic, actually, you can import your friends list from other things. I think I'm like 90% sure. Like, I can import my Steam friends list into Epic.
Well, download and install Remnant and see if you can see me on.
Yeah, you can add your Steam friends right into your Epic Games launcher.
But that doesn't mean you can play with them if they're using a Steam version.
This is true.
That's something that I guess that's what I mean, is that they should develop an API that allows crossplay between Steam and Epic. Really, these should just be launchers, right? And then the games should be separate, honestly. Like if you add an in-game friend, I think all games that launch on either of these should have their own friends lists that are stored on the game developer server versus your Steam friends or your Epic friends. And this way, you launch it for whatever service you prefer, and you can still play with the same people. That's a smart move there.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, Hab sent me this neat article that I read. I read through it and thought maybe we should chat a little bit about it. Let's pivot this away from the typical technology world into back to some more space stuff, some science technology. Something that I didn't know was happening, but apparently NASA is sending laser beams into space aimed at our moon. And they're shooting they've been doing it for the last 10 years. They shoot a laser beam at a reflector the size of a paperback novel towards the moon. It's about 240,000 miles away. And I guess not today, it was, when was this? This was back on August 12th, so last week. They actually got a signal back. So it hit the reflector and bounced all the way back to them. And so what they're doing is they have an LRO, or a Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, that's been studying the moon from orbit since about 2009. And what they're doing is they're learning more about so essentially they aim a beam of light at the reflector and see how long it takes for it to come back. And what they've found in doing this test over and over and over for the last 10 years is that they found that the Earth and the moon are actually drifting apart from each other at the same rate that your fingernails grow, which is about 1.5 inches per year.
Huh.
So every single year, the moon and the Earth get further apart from each other by 1.5 inches approximately.
That's
Which
really
is
neat.
kind of crazy if you think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to me, that what that screams is how, you know what, I'm gonna let it go because people might construe this stuff.
Conspiracy.
Yeah. The no, not conspiracy. Construe this as political, and I don't want to delve into that. So maybe I shouldn't say it. But just to anybody who might allude to what I'm talking about, global warming.
So, but here's the crazy thing. They've been thinking about this and they planned for this. So there are actually, from the article, there are 5 reflector panels on the surface of the moon. 2 of them were delivered by Apollo 11 and Apollo 14. One in 1969 and one in 1971. Those 2 are made of 100 mirrors combined, and they call them the corner cubes, as the corner, they're basically corners of a glass cube. And basically they can reflect light at any angle that it enters it. So it doesn't matter what angle or position it's in. If light enters it, it can reflect it back. Then Apollo 15 in 1971 dropped off another panel that had 300 mirrors in it.
Jesus. A lot of mirrors.
And then there are 2 Soviet robotic rovers, the Lunokhod 1 and 2, which landed in 1970 and 1973, that each carried 14 mirror reflectors. So those 5 sets of reflectors are stationed in different positions on the moon that they've been aiming at. And again, they're roughly the size of, a paperback novel. So not very big. It's kind of crazy.
That is kind of crazy.
So one of the things that they found also is that some of the returns were weaker than others. And so they're trying to figure out, is it an issue with the placement? Is there something obstructing it? Is it maybe covered in dust? Are there small micrometeor impacts that are kicking up dust on the moon that are covering parts of these? Or is there something else going on? But it's kind of it's crazy what we're doing and what we've been doing for the last decade, and then the pre-planning 50 years ago.
Yeah.
To set this all up. The forward thinking that the engineers at NASA had It's kind of insane.
Well, I wouldn't even call it forward thinking. Just the fact, yes, they are very forward thinkers, but along the lines of they probably had intentions of doing this, you know, within the they're like, back then, 50 years ago, they were like, you know what? In the next 5 years, we're gonna have a laser gonna shoot at these these glass mirrors and test this.
Yeah.
But then it took 40 years to actually develop the technology to complete it successfully. So they've been obvious, they obviously work on it, but yes, to your point, yes, they're forward thinking on the fact that, hey, this is something that we need to watch, and this is something that will be we need to be testing for and all of this. But it actually kind of amazes me that it took as long as it did, just because of the strides and stuff that they have made in other aspects.
Yeah. Well, they've been doing it for 10 years now. But the other thing, this set of sentences is kind of crazy to think about. So, by measuring how long it takes the laser light to bounce back, which is about 2.5 seconds on average. So think about that. Someone shines a light at you, and think about you don't register it for 2.5 full seconds. That's kind of crazy, first of all. Researchers can calculate the distance between Earth laser stations and the moon reflectors down to less than a few millimeters, which is about the thickness of an orange peel.
That is
so by taking
insane.
A laser that they shot 240,000 miles into space, taking 2.5 seconds to get it back, they can say, oh yeah, it's exactly this many miles, feet, centimeters, millimeters away from us, down to, give or take a few millimeters.
Yeah.
Which is just crazy.
Yeah.
But the other thing that they're measuring, right, so it says, besides the Earth-Moon drift, such measurements over a long period of time and across several reflectors have revealed that the moon has a fluid core. So the core of the moon is not solid.
That's interesting right there.
That's
very really interesting.
Think about what other, planets have a non-solid core, right?
Yeah.
Supposedly the core of the Earth is not solid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Of course, there's the gas giants that are obviously made of gas. What they want to know is if there's a solid core inside of the fluid, or if it's completely fluid. That's one thing that they don't know. So they do know that there is a fluid core, but they don't know if there's anything but inside of the fluid. They're also trying to figure out, and these studies are helping to explain what the timing of the magnetic field of the moon and how it lost its magnetic field. Right? Why did it become a moon over, a planet? Those are things that they're learning with these experiments. One of the things that they, the moon had apparently a magnetic field billions of years ago. They're just not sure how, why, or what made it change.
Well, if they use a thermonuclear bomb in the center of it, they can use the chain reaction to restart it. I learned that from...
Do we want to do that, though?
I learned that from the movie Core. It can happen. All you've got to do is you've got to get the right people,
Yes, 100% factual science right there.
Yeah, just make sure you get Stanley Tucci and Aaron Eckert and don't forget about DJ Qualls. and they can restart the moon.
Oh goodness.
Why?
You have a larger chance of blowing the moon up and killing us all.
No.
Restarting it.
No. You just got to get those people. They'll be able to do it. They did it once for the Earth.
Oh goodness.
Oh goodness.
I don't know about you.
What? Oh. So shifting gears, quite a bit. I was gonna say a little bit. No, this is shifting gears quite a bit. Apparently, DC Universe shows are going to be heading to HBO Max, and instead of their own streaming service, because apparently their own streaming service is going defunct because nobody apparently paid for it.
I didn't even know it was a thing.
Yeah, I didn't know either. Yeah.
And I had the feeling that was because Batwoman's on HBO Max right now.
Yeah. Yeah, did they take that off of CW?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't realize.
TV show, what do you mean? It should still be on CW, I thought. Let me see who does Batwoman. I don't know. I don't watch regular TV, so
I know I don't either. I haven't been watching. I just because all right. So they're going. So it seems like the CW. It's going to be running also on the CW as well.
I think CW is where it's actually, and then like how Netflix and everything does it. Yeah. Season later, it goes to the streaming service.
It's possible.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. I have no idea that there was even a specific DC streaming service.
Yeah, neither did I.
That's a lack of advertisement on their side. That is why it failed. That's unfortunate.
But so yeah, that's just something I found, and I was like, oh, that's interesting, because I obviously, like you guys, I didn't know DC had a streaming service, number one, and number two, I have a feeling that, like, I always enjoyed on the CW, like The Flash and all of those shows. They did a fantastic job with the DC universe, and it's in my opinion, I think it was a smart move going to HBO Max, just because that exposure is good, but also in the world of superheroes and comic books, I noticed last night I saw a trailer for the New Mutants coming out of Marvel Studios.
Cool.
I don't know if anybody. I had to look up what the New Mutants were. Apparently, it was a book out of the Marvel. Within the last, I think it was. Oh shoot. I think it was early 2000s.
That up. I will say that I've always found the shows that DC made were better than the movies that they made.
Yes.
So that's,
absolutely.
Marvel makes the better movies, but I think DC makes the better shows. Aside from the Dark Knight series.
I don't know. The Netflix Marvel shows were fantastic. Jessica Jones, Punisher, Daredevil.
Daredevil was good.
All of them were great.
Yeah, but you also have to say there's a difference between a Netflix TV series and a made-for-TV TV series.
Yeah.
Right? So making a TV series that because you really could you play the Punisher series on TV without editing it?
No.
Okay. What about Jessica Jones? Without editing it, could it play on TV? That's my point. So you're comparing a Netflix style, which is more or less just a shortened movie, basically, compared to a made-for-TV series. And I think that DC does a really good job making shows for TV.
That's only because the FCC has their hands on too many things and restricts way too much.
I agree, but
I'm just sad they got rid of the Iron Fist. I really liked the Iron Fist.
Season 1 was pretty bad. Defenders redeemed him, and Season 2 was amazing.
No, Season 1 was pretty good, and Season 2 was amazing. And Season 3, the setup for Season 3, I was like,
I couldn't wait
when
it was canceled. I'm like, no!
It was given the Firefly treatment.
Yeah.
Well, no, Firefly. No, this had more seasons than Firefly.
Yeah. It did.
Well, in your opinion, though, Habs, in your opinion, maybe it didn't because perhaps the first season shouldn't have been played, huh?
Oh no, it should definitely have been played. It did a good backstory.
It just was real bad.
It was the fight, like the fighting and everything. He's supposed to be like this world, like renowned martial artist, like the best of the best. Based on interviews that I've seen and everything, he got a day to learn the fights before they actually did the fights in the first season.
Ugh.
So like a lot of people came out like, oh, he was being lazy, and it turns out no, they didn't have time. They had a rush schedule. So that wasn't his fault. When they got the backlash, that's when they went back, oh, we really need to, fix this in the next season, and they really did. Like the fighting was fantastic, and then the group movie or miniseries Defenders was just beautifully done.
So, has anyone watched the Amazon Prime original superhero show, The Boys?
I haven't.
I watched season 1, and it was great.
Yeah, I've heard
season
it's
2
good.
comes out next month.
They are what I would expect of actual superheroes to be like.
Yeah, dude. Parker, sorry, Rex. If you haven't watched The Boys,
is
you gotta watch it, dude. Oh my god, it's so good.
Carl Urban is so perfect for that.
He is the epitome of chaotic neutral.
Yes.
Yes. He is the Deadpool of Amazon Prime. Like he does so well with everything. Yeah. He's just like, yeah, we gotta do this. And then like start getting into the politics of the show and like really what makes a superhero. Yeah. Like, I don't know, man. It's such a good pretty much down to earth. Like this is really what you would expect a team of superheroes to be. A corporate run sheep.
Yeah. Yes.
Nobody's just going to go out there for the goodness of their own heart just because they have superpowers and help people. Not in today's day and age.
Maybe.
Not in today's age, you won't.
I don't know. Look at people that are volunteer, fire and EMS. They're volunteers. They're not getting paid for that. They're doing it out of the goodness of their heart and So.
Yes, but if they had superpowers, would they still be doing it out of the goodness of their heart?
There are people out there that would. That sure. Is just very limited.
Exactly, and you'll find in the show the same thing.
Yep.
But so I guess just to give you some premises of the show, basically the superheroes were there's a corporation that founded control of the superheroes. They say, okay, these are the events that we will dispatch certain types of superheroes to, and they collect contract money from cities to protect them, right? Gotcha. And so the superheroes, they may all start off with, yes, I'm a superhero, I want to help people, but at some point when you're making $1 billion a year just to help certain people,
yeah,
it's very much a really cool thought kind of process, a thought experiment of what would happen if a corporation in America ran the superheroes. And it's really cool. And it's the opening scene to season 1 is still the thing that I most prominently remember from the show. I don't know about you, Habs, but opening scene of episode 1,
fantastic.
It's just I was talking to my boss about it, and he's like, oh, all I can remember from season 1 is the opening scene. That's all I remember.
I think somebody told me the opening scene.
Oh, it's unfortunate. You gotta watch it. It's great.
Maybe.
Oh, if you like superheroes, and you like blood and gore and action and lots of other adult situations, you will love The Boys.
I don't know. Yes. I've been trying to watch The Grimm. Because somebody once told me about it, and they're like, you got to watch it. And I finally sat down and started watching it on Amazon. So that's what I've been watching. I don't know if you guys have ever watched it, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. For those who don't know what it is or haven't watched it, it's your classic your classic fairy tale stories, but told in the light of
like a Grimm Brothers
style. Not a Grimm Brother, like a Grimm Brothers style, but it's not old timey. It's in current times, and the Grimms are a line of like an ancestral line of like monster hunters, basically, and then like everybody else, like others have like the ancestral lines of like wolves and different things like that, and the premise of the show is this guy is a cop in Portland. He finds out that he's a Grimm, but he doesn't know anything about it. Like he's learning it along the way, and basically the only indication that you get that, like, say, take for example, a lot of people shy away from, we'll just take werewolves for example. Like, a lot of people get in their head werewolves, they're gonna turn into a wolf, and the like that Twilight Saga, this Twilight Saga of
Twilight. Oof.
Yeah, it's just like that's what people get into their heads, and right. It's not like that. It's like you get a flash of, like, they do it in such a way, like there's a flash of like an animal instinct on the person's face, and then they kind of just and then it subsides, but the story still progresses. It's quite interesting. So
nice. We have to check it out. Yeah. I highly recommend The Boys, though. Definitely if you want to feel that superhero thing. It's one of the better independent superhero shows, I would say.
I might give it a try. I don't know.
It's really worth the watch. That and Hannah.
Yeah. We were talking about we actually covered a lot of stuff in the overall podcast today. We generally talk about anything that's tech or nerd related. We today we covered, we covered quite a bit. We covered stuff from NASA. We covered stuff from Intel. We dived into DC Comics a little bit. So yeah, we're
everything.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
Yep.
We try to keep a regular schedule. This past couple of months have been a little bit rough for life wise for a couple of us. Yeah, and our schedule is kind of fallen a little bit, but we do have our VODs posted, so you can go watch the whole thing after we're done, or generally Wednesdays, between Wednesday and Thursday, our YouTube channel is put up, and you can rewatch the whole thing there. So yeah, it's we call it's the Hsr Nerdcast. So, but we should be back in a couple weeks, as I'm out of topics for now. I apologize to anybody who has come in at the end. Tail end of it. Yeah, I feel like we get a lot of our viewers a little bit later, and I'm wondering if I'm gonna start trying to figure out, maybe we should start a little bit later instead of when we do start. We normally start at 9:30, but we're still learning this as we go. So,
yep.
But all right, yeah. Thanks everyone. Appreciate it, and we'll pick this back up in a couple of weeks, and hopefully, I know I'm gonna be probably moving here. I thought I was going to be moving sooner, but I'm hoping within. Not going to be delayed. We're not going to be delayed a week or anything like that for that. But yeah. Don't forget to.
Thanks for stopping by and hanging out. And
yeah, absolutely.
Thanks everybody.
Thank you, and catch us on YouTube. And if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe and share your friends. So, thanks again. Have a good day.
Peace.